It's time for Track Talk on News Talk 1240 WHBU and the new 103.7 FM and on Muncie's Sports Station, 102.9 FM and 1340 AM. Here's Rick and Gary with Anderson Speedway's Track Talk.
Waiting on my cue, Mr.
Yes.
Producer.
We didn't have that last week.
We didn't. Yeah, we didn't have a cue last week, Wade. We got Wade back in the cornfield, running the boards for us back there in Daleville this week. It's good to have him back.
It is.
Even though Zach does a good job, it's good to have Wade.
Wade missed us, we can tell.
Rick Dawson, Gary Mong, we're at the Mounds Mall Special Events Studio, and this is Track Talk. Be here for the next half hour to talk about some racing.
We had some racing Saturday to talk about.
We did,
yes.
But we also have a guest star in the studio, so if you're wanting to get autographs, we'll
That's
be
not
here
how
for
he
the
describes you when you're not here.
next half hour.
I know people
line
call
up
and
at the
tell
gate
me.
with us this evening. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, fellas. So happy to be here. It's amazing what the offer of buying somebody a meal will get people to do.
One of the original founders of this program, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I see Rick does just as much research for the show today as he did 20 years ago. None.
You mean preparation?
Yeah, that too.
We've got now you've thrown me off. I had it all planned out in my head, and now I've done.
Really?
Oh yeah. We actually, since you have been here, are actually heard in over 20 different countries around the world.
Awesome.
And just yesterday, I got an email from our good friend Ken in Pennsylvania,
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania,
who thanked us for mentioning that we met him, and he listens to the show,
He
and
does.
we appreciate it.
and we mentioned him again. He's
We
going to be one of
did.
those regulars on there, just like Aunt Jenny is. Yes.
Anyway, we're going to talk about some racing, which we did have some this past weekend. It was actually, it turned out to be a really nice day. There wasn't any wind hardly, and the sun came out. It was still, I don't think it got above 43 degrees,
Really?
but it didn't feel like that.
No, the wind, with no wind, that helped.
We had decent car counts, and we had some really good racing, which we always do at this event. Next year, we've actually moved it up to the first weekend in November, which will give us a little leeway, better leeway with the weather. But
Well, and I had preached in the drivers' meetings, guys, it's all about fun today. No points involved. Just go out there and just have a good time, just have a blast. It's kind of the last hurrah before winter comes on, and they did.
they did this street stock race. We had 12 street stocks show up, and Fred Hopkins, who hasn't raced much this whole year, I don't think he's raced very much with you guys, has he, RJ?
He came out with the Jegs car.
The Redbud weekend, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. He set fast time. And,
In a Jegs car?
No, a street stock.
in the street stock, and Calvin Parham, who was our points champion 2 years ago, set second fast time. We actually did qualifying a little different this time. We were a little cramped on time. I need to make sure we got a little more next year for practice. So we did the qualifying during practice. So we took your fastest practice lap, and I assume that you spread them out, didn't send too many cars out at a time. And
Everybody should have plenty of opportunities.
had a good feature race. Brian Hopkins pretty much dominated it. I think he led from green to checker, didn't he?
Yes.
Started on the front. But the race between Calvin Parham and Willie Dehart,
That was a great battle.
and
there.
Travis Burge was really good, especially at the first of the race. Calvin had a little better car than Willie did. Of course, Willie was second in our points this year. Had a little better car, but Willie was able to hold him up big part of the race, but Calvin got around him.
And Willie was driving a different car. It wasn't his usual number, fourth he usually drives?
Yeah, he was in the 12 car,
Yes.
which, RJ, who'd you tell me you thought that car was?
Well, somebody, when we looked at pictures when we were following online and afterwards, and I asked, I forget who I asked, I said, who's in that 12 car? And they thought that it was James Kirby, but I'm guessing it was.
That didn't look like his car.
Yeah, it was Willie.
Yeah.
Travis Burge hopped in Josh Poor's 27 car. Travis helped Josh out a whole lot this year. And Travis is no stranger to the racetrack and had a good, solid fourth place. And Freddie Hopkins finished in fifth, so it was a good street stock race. Then we had, what did I say, 16 or 17? 16
Pro Compacts.
Pro Compacts. Chris Jennings came over from Richmond. We had a lot of cars here. Several from the Voris Compact Touring Series came over and raced with us Saturday. And then
I think this is when you decided to join me up here in the standard for the last part of that
I
race.
watched the last 6 races.
And that
last
6 laps was really good.
The whole race was
yes.
good. I mean, Ricky Tharp, who hopped in Matt's number 4, which was the champion car this year, and Chris Jennings, and I think it was Jeff Williams that was in the 60 car
Yes.
for the first part of that race, were side by side. I mean, Tharp and Jennings were side by side most of the race, and Williams was right there on their tail.
Yes.
And I was just afraid something was going to happen, but they actually raced themselves really
They did.
pretty clean.
Then on lap 19, we had to go red flag. We had an oil down, and that set up for the great finish.
Had an oil down and a mosquito fogging, if I remember
Yes,
right. It
something
got
like
kinda
that. Yes.
ugly, but Williams was able to get out in front and looked like he was going to dominate the race. And I don't know what happened, if brain fade or what, but he came off
Pancake the
turn
wall,
4,
didn't
and he didn't just pancake the wall. I mean, he smacked it.
He did.
And that flattened tires or something. Anyway, he had to pull in, but that set up a good close race between Ricky Tharp and Chris Jennings. I think they battled the lead back and forth 2 or 3 times, and when it was all said and done, Ricky Tharp came home the champion in that race.
Over Chris Jennings, yes. Great finish.
Let's see. We also had Steve. Oh, no, that's Thunder Cars. So that's that. Let's go to the Thunder Cars. This computer just bounces back and forth. Thunder Cars. We had 12 of those there, and good cars.
Good card counts, yes.
To race. Curtis Chapman set fast time, but in the feature, I didn't get to see this race, so you're going to have to tell me.
This one was a great battle and came down to the last lap to determine the winner on this one, but they came for the white flag between Curtis Chapman and Jeremy Threet in the 61 car, and coming down for the white flag, they were coming on lap traffic. Lap traffic was on the bottom. Curtis was in the middle. Jeremy was on the outside. Curtis and Jeremy got together. It threw Jeremy up towards the wall there. Curtis got tangled up with the slow cars, and Jeremy literally limped around the track, come back for the checker flag and won the race.
Good, and
So it was a great finish.
I understand that was his first feature win ever.
I believe so, yes.
Which
he
is
was pretty
cool.
happy. Yes.
Good guy. Jeremy, he raced with us for several years, then took a couple of years off, and is now, it looks like he's going to be back next year. And I seen his car come off the track, and one wheel was...
But he finished first.
And I guess Curtis came up there, and then they got mixed up, whatever. But anyway...
It's just part of racing.
The 25 car of Tyler Nicely, who came up from Owensboro, Kentucky, finished second. Curtis Chapman was third. Austin Russell in the 48 car finished fourth, and I was supposed to announce this last week, but Austin wanted everybody to know he got engaged.
Oh, good for Russell,
And
for Austin.
18 of Steve Bickett, another Whitesville, Kentucky car, finished in fifth place. So I talked to these guys from Kentucky after the race, and they just love our racetrack,
Good.
and they just had a blast. And whenever they're not racing down there, I'm sure they'll be up here. Of course,
Is.
down there, what's the name of that? It's Kentucky Motor Speedway,
Yes,
right?
that's correct, yes.
You guys have a 200-lap CRA street stock race Memorial Day weekend.
That's right. Yeah.
So good guys and fun to have around. Frankie Oakes was back, who hadn't been racing for a couple of years. Earl Adams was back, so it's good to have all those cars there. Then we had a front-wheel drive figure 8 race, and pretty much ditto of the way we ended them up year before last.
Yes.
Nick Warner set fast time, and Nick Warner won the race.
But he and the gentleman from Kentucky, I can't see the name here,
Brandon Dalton.
Yeah. They had a great battle going on. In fact, Mike Alley was actually leading the race and come through that crossover there, and he had to dodge the traffic and went flying through the infield there on the front stretch there, and that's when Nick took over the lead.
Nick Warner, Mike Alley, Brandon Dalton from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Ron Phipps, and Timmy Perkins round out the top 5. We also had a gentleman by the name of John McLavin there from Prospect, Kentucky. So Kentucky was well represented
So
Saturday.
he came up, had some fun.
Fun time on Turkey Bash. We got 2 full boxes of toys for the Toys for Tots, which is just awesome. Santa Claus was there and had a great time with the kids. Everybody put their order in. It was just a fun day at the racetrack, and I enjoy those. But we're done racing for 2015.
You had too much fun because you was bothering me.
Really? Didn't have a lot on my time. It was kind of one of those nights.
When he joins me in the flag stand and then starts throwing my flags over the top of the stand, I know he's having way too much fun.
I don't remember that.
It usually costs money when Rick gets in the flag stand. That's
yes,
all
it does.
I asked him if he wanted to fly. He said, no, you know what happens when I do that.
Yeah.
Whenever I flag, something not good happens. You remember the 50th anniversary with the Legends and Legends?
I do.
That was
vividly.
That was expensive for us, wasn't
Yes.
it?
Who was in the flag stand?
That was me.
Yeah.
I remember on a New Year's Day race, we had like 6 mini cups in the first lap, and he wrecked all 4 of them on the first lap.
I wrecked them.
Well, you were on the flag stand when it happened.
Well, not to be outdone, I go over to Mount Lawn, I think that same year, and we have a NASCAR race, and somebody ends up in the creek there off the hairpin turn. So I've given up the flag stand as far as the flag. I don't like it up there anyway. That's not.
I love it. It's great. It's
those
fun.
cars are just. They're too close.
Wait till you see wing cars go by up there.
Yeah.
That's an adrenaline rush.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. There's several other things going on in racing, and I think we're going to go ahead, Wade, and take a quick break because RJ just got back from Pensacola and the Snowball Derby, and I know the fans like to hear a first-hand view of what transpired down there, see a little bit about what's going on with CRA, and talk about the PRI show that's coming up this week. So we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Anderson Speedway's Track Talk. We'll be right back.
Heart attack, stroke, serious injury. A sudden health crisis can happen to anyone at any time. So when bad things happen, choose good people. St. Vincent Anderson Regional Hospital has the area's most advanced emergency care. With a state-designated Level 3 trauma center, an internationally accredited chest pain center for heart attack patients, and advanced certification for primary stroke care, we have all the resources to deliver the care you need for any serious or life-threatening emergency. St. Vincent Anderson Regional is the only emergency department in the area with an on-site helicopter. And our $27 million state-of-the-art surgery pavilion opens later this year. Bad things can happen to anyone. Thankfully, good people are ready to help. Choose emergency care from St. Vincent Anderson Regional, the spirit of caring. Visit stvincent.org/Anderson Regional to learn more.
Honey, stop! Oh my gosh, that's Diggity's back there.
You mean the new Diggity's Frozen Treat Factory?
I heard it's unbelievable. Everybody's talking about it. They have everything yummy.
Yeah, I heard they have ice cream, yogurt, custard, sorbet.
And gelato, plus fruit smoothies, and that's just the beginning.
I heard Diggity's has over 250 toppings, not 30 or 40 like those other places, and you can even get the candy to go separately.
We can eat outside on their huge patio by the fire, too.
Okay, let's see. Frozen yogurt, ice cream, custard, sorbet, and gelato with 250 toppings? Or a plain old frozen yogurt shop with limited toppings?
Diggity's it is!
Diggity's wants to cater your event. Diggity's can set up at your event inside or out and provide delicious smoothies, frozen cappuccinos, candies, and frozen treats to your guests. Diggity's is perfect for weddings, company picnics, group outings, sporting events, festivals, you name it, just call Diggity's. 765-393-0033 today for more information.
MoFab Incorporated, where imagination is the only limitation. We serve residential, commercial, industrial, and municipal customers as your metals warehouse and fabrication center. We do all types of fabrication using the latest technology with unmatched speed, accuracy, and durability on any substrate. Our ornamental division handles all types of interior and exterior work, including rails, fences, gates, and more. So contact us at mofabbing.com to fabricate your dreams of tomorrow today.
You won't believe these deals? They're too good to be true. You cannot miss this special. We're going to give you so much off, you won't believe it. Actual mileage may vary. Price does not include tax, title, and license. Some assembly required. Batteries not included. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Keep in a cooler place. It is highly unlikely that any sentiments expressed above in any way coincide with those of it.
Wait, what'd they just say? At Auto Farm McCrocklin Ford in Middletown, we're not here to give you fast-talking deals. We take the time to make sure you understand what you're buying to make sure it meets your budget. If you're at Auto Farm McCrocklin Ford in Middletown, you're at the right place.
This program is a presentation by Anderson Speedway. The content contained in this program is that of the host and guests, and not this station.
How about a little Who to come back onto the show?
Who?
Little Squeeze Box. Haven't heard that one for a long time. I love that song. Robert Plant. No. Was he Led Zeppelin? Roger Daltrey.
You know, sometimes you should just stop talking.
Maybe I should.
Just stop talking.
It's not Gary Puckett. He doesn't know.
Before we get to RJ, I want to remind you of a couple things. You're doing your Christmas shopping now, so go to our website. These are big this year everywhere, but ours are going good too. Get your ugly sweatshirt.
Sweatshirt?
Or ugly sweaters.
Okay.
They're actually made out of sweatshirt material. We got one at the office. They're really neat. They look like sweaters, but they're made out of sweatshirt material, so they're actually practical too. They'll keep you warm. And also we now have, for a limited time, our advanced sale tickets for the 2016 season. These are popular too. Had people pick them up on Saturday. Get 20 tickets for $150. That's only $7.50 a race.
Wow.
Or you can get 10 tickets for $80. That's only $8 a race.
And could there be a more perfect stocking stuffer?
They fit perfectly in just about any stocking you want to buy. Even a baby booty, they'll fit. We'll make them fit for you. But call us or stop by the racetrack. We're there every day from 10 to 4. Just come in the pit entrance, come up to the office, and Jessica's sitting right there, and we'll get you taken care of. You can get your ugly sweaters online. Just click on our website, and we'll get you taken care of. You just got back from one of the big premier races of the year, especially for the short tracks, and it's a neat event. Comparable to this track would be their little 500, and Tim Bryant and his whole group down there. They're great folks, and I really enjoy being around. I hope he's here for the PRI show so I can talk to him. Had a great snowball derby weekend this year, and you just got back to tell us a little bit about your experience, and then we'll get into the race itself and what transpired.
Well, like as you mentioned, Tim and all of his staff down there at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, they do a great job. And myself and Glenn go down each year. Occasionally, Greg has gone down with us. And for a short period of time, we actually went down and did the scoring for them and helped them with that. Well, they ended up getting their own equipment down there. And now we pretty much go in and just kind of help out wherever we can. And each year we're kind of back behind the race director and helps just be spotters for stuff on the track. I helped a little scoring situation.
Kind of like what I do at Winchester for the 400?
Yep, something like that, a lot like that.
I taught you well.
Of course. So we go in, like, last 2 or 3 years, on Thursday and Friday, I work in tire impound and help my buddies with Hoosier Asphalt Tire South. I kind of coordinate the line of tire selection. You know, when there's like 65 cars in each division, when it comes time to select tires, we got to do it in an orderly fashion, and I just take care of that for them.
Kind of like I do it in Georgia next month.
Absolutely.
I've taught you well.
I guess so. Thanks for pointing that out.
Know, sometimes we get credit out of it.
Yes.
No, the neat thing about doing what you did in the tower is it's not something that, I mean, you got to watch the track all the time, but you have more access to the food than anybody else.
and at Five Flags on Sunday, they had these huge trays of chicken wings. And I got at the end of the day and I go, I don't think I've ever eaten so many chicken wings.
Zaxby's?
I don't know who it was, but it was a great time down there, and weather was great, and we get to work together with those guys because we have national rules that we work on together, and in fact we're co-sanctioning an event in Nashville together with that group and Southern Super Series and everything, so pretty exciting.
Well, that's neat. The racing was good. I mean, I followed it on Speed 51. I didn't watch the pay-per-view, but I did follow it online, and I could kind of tell what was. Yeah, I am.
If you'd have sold one more ugly sweater, you could have afforded to watch it.
I'm not so sure I couldn't have made a phone call and got somebody's password. But anyway, I followed it, and it looked like it was a real good race. There was some controversy on Friday night after the qualifying, and some big controversy again, which that race seems to be no stranger to when it was over again. Tell us a little bit about what happened in Tampa. I mean, Christopher Bell, we seen him in action at Winchester. Yes. What a good talent and a great driver, and he's in obviously great equipment. I assume Bond was down there.
Actually, Chris Gabehart was the crew chief, former CRA champion.
Yeah, Chris is
Central
a good
Indiana
guy and knows his stuff. But he put on a hell of a show over at Winchester. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I think
you just
so.
did.
over at Winchester, and sounds like he did the same thing down there.
They were bad fast. A lot of great cars. When you're talking about 65 of the best super late models in the country, and
that's
I mean
a half-mile track.
Yeah, half-mile, and great job, great tight qualifying, really tough. I mean, the last chance race I think had like almost 30 cars in it, and it'd been an all-star race any other place you went. And it was the last chance race.
Wow.
So, but really, really good stuff. They had some issues in qualifying where Hunter Nemechek and Christopher Bell got disqualified for a body measurement infraction. One that we've checked with our cars, and we've had to make guys fix and stuff that we have them fix it before we get to the race and things of that nature. So, was it, in your opinion, a significant performance enhancer? I wouldn't call it significant. Probably the only thing, I know for a fact that we would have done different, that is working with Eddie Chu, our chief technical inspector. When it comes to that body, those kind of things that are on the outside of the car that you can visually see, that are always going through, not that's hidden, but you can see. My thing is, Eddie, you check whatever you want to check. But if you think it's important enough that you're going to disqualify somebody for it after the race, then it better be something that you checked before. Mm-hmm. You know, don't check all this stuff, and then pick this obscure thing that's out in front of you that you could have checked before. Our philosophy is we want to be there to help the racer. We don't want to be there to try and catch the racer. We'd rather help you not, but it happens sometimes. Yes. You have to disqualify people, and we have before. And so those guys got caught for that, and I can't tell you whether they checked it before or not, sure. But it fell outside the limit. It really, it made a difference, but it didn't with Christopher, because he came from the back of the field, and it must have been a heck of a show watching him come up and then end up taking the checkered flag. Yeah, he did a great job, and there were a lot of action towards the front all the way throughout the field. I don't know, I think it went like 70 laps before the first caution came out. It was incredible. So, but it was unfortunate to see the disqualification after the race.
And the owner wasn't too happy about that call either.
The what?
Mr. Bush, the owner, wasn't too happy about that.
Kyle.
Yeah. Kyle.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about the disqualification give the race to Chase Elliott. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say give, because Chase he wasn't running like 7th or 8th with like 20 or 30 laps to go and ended up finishing second, but then he got the win. What was the disqualification for?
Approximately 58.3% left side weight. The rule calls for 58.0, with most places have a 0.1 tolerance. So he would at that he would have been about 0.2 off. And CRA has disqualified people for the same thing, being 58.3. That's too big.
And this is something that's common, that's checked all the time. Just about every race, cars go over the scale.
Yes, so. They've been checked multiple times. The issue here was the concern that after Christopher won, he did a Polish victory lap. And as you guys know, the little 500 and the Redbud 300, all the rubber that's up against the wall that the guys don't really race in, well, when you go do your Polish victory lap with left side tires right against the wall that are hot, it just accumulated all that rubber. Now the difference is approximately 5 pounds that he would have been over on the left side. He was actually 0.18% over, and that would have been about 5.5 pounds. And that rubber that he picked up that wasn't there when he raced could easily have been the difference. So they elected not to let him, clean the tires or change the tires. So I'm afraid next year, whoever wins, they're gonna do that. They're gonna pick the car up and put it on rollers and roll it back to Tech.
Well, I know after the little 500 and here in recent years after the Redbud, and it's the compound of the tires that Hoosier provides. But I've run tennis shoes. And I know I pick up a half a pound or a pound just on my shoes.
Well, you know what it's
like.
The pace car.
Yeah,
when the pace car after a race,
it'll take the whole fender off in half.
And we've had issues with our pace cars before. Remember when we were with ASA, it ripped out a whole inner fender. The rubber gets built up so big on those tires, it's crazy.
Well, it's unfortunate for him. He's got a great future with him too,
does.
and so does Chris Gabehart. good to see.
I heard there were some good things coming down the pike for Chris in the next year or two, so that's going to be pretty exciting.
Good deal. Tell us a little bit about, I don't think you've got your schedule out yet, do you?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Oh. I even got your website up and I'm not paying attention. Tell us a little bit about the 2016 CRA schedules.
Well, we're going to start off like we have in the last, I don't forget how many years, probably 10 years, with Speed Fest, and it's at Watermelon Capital Speedway again, where I believe you guys are already set to come down and help out me part of the festivities. Yep. Super late models and pro late models, the JEG Series and ARCA CRA Series there together. Then our first points race, we're going to open up with that co-sanctioned event at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
I was thinking that was in the fall. I'm sorry. I got it confused with the All-American.
Yes. So, and then we'll go to Toledo April 16th, and then I think it's 2 weeks later, or maybe 3 weeks later, we'll be back at Anderson Speedway for the tune-up for the Redbud 300. Be going to Bearfield Speedway Saturday, May 21st. Ileana Speedway co-sanctioned with the Midwest Tour on Sunday, May 29th. Berlin Raceway for the Berlin 251 in June. We'll also be at Columbus Motor Speedway in June. Redbud 300 Saturday, July 16th.
Freightliner Redbud.
Stoops Freightliner, yes.
The 50th.
50th, yes. Gary was pointing that out earlier. That's awesome.
He doesn't miss any of that old-time stuff.
Why do you have to? It's just specifically old-time stuff that he doesn't miss?
That's correct.
Then after the Redbud, we'll be at Lucas Oil Raceway as part of Brickyard Week. We're going to Mansfield, which is going to be great. Beautiful facility. Be there Saturday, August 6th. A couple days later, we'll be at Kalamazoo Speedway as part of the Kalamazoo Clash. Flat Rock Speedway, then Winchester for Labor Day weekend. Lucas Oil Raceway, and then the Winchester 400 and that second weekend in October. So 15-point races there for the Super Series.
May have a different winner this year for the first time in a couple, 2 or 3 years at Winchester.
You never know.
But you never know.
You never know.
So, dead air's not good on the regular.
Well, we have the JEG Series that we're also has a schedule that looks very similar. When we go to Mansfield for the Super Series race, the JEGS race will be happening the same day. So it's one of the few opportunities. I think maybe Lucas Oil is the only other time you can see both series race on the same day. So we're looking forward to that. And we'll have a standalone event with the JEG Series at Anderson Speedway. I believe that's part of Brickyard Weekend.
I think it's after the week after.
Brickyard Weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, so Friday night at Lucas Oil, Saturday night at Anderson for the JEG Series, and if you want to go to that little track for the big race on Sunday, you can do that too. But so lots of great things. Plus, we're going to be releasing the tentative schedules for the Street Stocks and Sportsmen at PRI. So come by our booth. We'll be inside the ARCA booth. Great display, and look forward to seeing everybody there.
Performance Racing Industry Trade Show, the biggest one in our business, is this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday down at the Convention Center in Indianapolis. Convention Center's full, and I'm not sure if they're not using Lucas Oil this year. And I understand they're having a dirt midget race
at the Banker's Life,
which I'm still.
And they've got a basketball game the night before.
Yeah,
I still can't believe they're going to get it done.
It's a good thing it's better the night before than the night after, because they're never going to get them seats clean. We appreciate you taking the time, RJ. We got a lot of other stuff I wanted to talk about. Your affiliation with ARCA and what that's doing, and how everybody at ARCA is doing. And some of the other races, we'll get you back on here as soon as I can get my guest list and celebrities pared down a little bit. So there's a waiting list,
Well, glad I was at the top of it.
Well, I'm glad you came over and seen us this evening.
Right.
We're out of time. We'll be back same time, same stations.
Hello,
appreciate everybody listening to us wherever you're at on 1240 WHBU.com. For Gary Mong, I'm Rick Dawson, RJ Scott. Have a great day, and we'll see you at the track.
And on Muncie Sports Station, 102.9 FM and 1340 AM. And for more information on Anderson Speedway, go to andersonspeedway.com.